I have an aspiration to run the length of Hadrian's Wall, which is 84 miles, and I want to do it in probably 4 days because it won't take too much of my time up and keeps the cost down. Therefore, I need to up my mileage and test myself to see whether I could do about 20 odd miles, 4 days on the trot. My plan for today is to run from the Vale of Aegean up to the town of Market Harborough, which is about 21 miles. And then tomorrow I plan to try and do another long stint somewhere. Again, it's pushing the envelope for me, and obviously I don't know how I'm going to cope, but we'll find out over the next 48 hours. Today's route goes through a number of little villages, crosses over the Leicester branch of the local canal, and goes past the battle site of the Battle of Nasby. My aim is to average about 3.5 miles an hour. I think that's good enough for an old fart like me, and that will mean I can do about the 21 miles in 6 hours, and that will include the sort of stops, getting lost, route finding. Heart rate wise, I'm going to try and keep between about 130 and 140 beats per minute. It should be reasonably comfortably in my aerobic zone, and if I can maintain that for 6 hours, it'll be quite good. Although what I do find is that as I get tired, I find it increasingly impossible just to keep my heart rate down, other than just constantly walking. So there's the canal at Welton Wharf. We're at Watford Gap, or very near Watford Gap. And Watford Gap is actually a gap in some very low hills. They're not big hills, but the canals came through here, or the canal came through here, and whenever it was built in the 17 whatevers. The railway came through here when that was built in probably 1850, something like that. The M1 motorway comes through here. What a delight that is. And before all of that, even the Romans came through here. And I'm just running down to the A5, which is the old Roman road, Watling Street. Now it's coming over the railway, West Coast Main Line. And obviously we can see the motorway, the M1. Actually, I better stop and look at my map. It's okay, I'm well on track. What strikes me as remarkable is that an awful lot of time and money was spent digging the canal, but that technology was superseded when the trains came along, and then an awful lot of money and time and effort was spent on building the railways.
13 minutes 49.
But then the car came along, and an awful lot of time and money was then spent building the M1 motorway and other motorways. And then the internet came along, and COVID and Zoom, and now time and money and effort is being spent, and more should be spent in my opinion, laying super fast broadband. And the other thing that I'm also noticing behind me, there's some very ominous clouds and some rain. And I haven't brought my raincoat. And yes, it has started raining. Perfect. That's my first hour up, 4.7 miles. So that's ahead of my average of 3.5 I'm aiming for. So that's positive. But it is only the first hour. I'm just entering the village of West Haddon. That's the 2-hour mark and 9 miles in total. Got that annoying cow thing going on here. Can you see them in the background? When I start running, they start running after me. Want to join me? Flipping nuisance. Yeah, cattle grid now, that'll stop them. Nasby, 2.5, that's where I'm going. Well, I'm not sure what's going on, but I've just passed a couple and the gentleman was wearing a very fancy hat, and I've just I've just passed a lady wearing a hat, and I'm just coming up behind another chap who also seems to be wearing a very fancy hat. Hello.
Hi.
So why am I passing people wearing funny hats? Fancy hats, fancy hats.
Geocaching event in Nasby.
A what?
Pirate Mania.
A pirate mania?
Yes, and it's a big event where there's hundreds of people there. And we go around finding geocaches. We dress up as pirates.
Oh, well.
Great fun.
Well, I'm running from Daventry to Market Harborough, which is 21 miles.
Well done.
So that's my silly activity for the day.
Oh, well, my silly activity is dressing up as a
The
pirate.
pirate. Okay. Well, I hope you find your next cache. They're dressed up as pirates doing geocaching. There we go, Nasby. Just found the village shop in Nasby. I think I might go in and get a nice cool cup of Coke or something. Something to eat, because I'm over halfway now. Well, I think my plan to stop in that shop and get a sandwich and a bottle of full fat Coke was a perfect idea. It's the most delicious white bread, prawn and crab sandwich. So I've done 12 miles pretty much on the dot. I'm at the village of Nasby, which I'm sure you all realise was where the decisive battle of the English Civil War was fought in 1645 between the army of Cromwell, known as the New Model Army because they were new and modern, and the Royalists under King Charles I, Prince of the Rhine. Anyway, the parliamentarians won a decisive victory and changed the course of English history. That's the 3-hour mark, 12.6 miles, 8 miles to go, thereabouts. Alex are definitely feeling tired, but it was, I think, a good idea to stop and glug down half a litre of Coke and have a sandwich, though it's sloshing around in my stomach at the moment. Probably be sick in a minute. So I'm coming up now to Nasby Field, I think it's called, which is where the Battle of Nasby was actually fought. And one of the things with going around the UK, Great Britain, is you've got this magnificent network of public footpaths. Not always easy to find out where they go. You've got to be pretty good at your map reading, but they go through so many historical and interesting places. Well, I had to stop off at the Nasby Monument, which is behind me, and then the battlefield was down there. Uh, 378 years ago, there was that decisive battle. 7 or 8 miles to Market Harborough, so I better not delay. Oh, back onto the, what's it called, Jurassic Way. I'm going through a field of broad beans, also called Faduka beans. And these Faduka beans were quite popular to eat in the Middle Ages, for the peasants to eat, because they were nutritious and they could be dried and eaten in winter. Four hours and we've done 17 miles. And this is where I'm starting to get a bit tired. 17 and a half miles, and the last couple of miles have been along quite rough terrain. The paths have not always been marked and I've gone a bit awry. I feel my concentration going and just feeling tired really. Just coming over that stile. I think that the distance is Market Harborough. I'm very glad to see it.
So as usual, I forgot to do my final wrap up from my run, but I was pretty pleased to do the 20 miles in under 5 hours, so that was good. And got to my final destination, which was at 20.8 miles, fractionally over 5 hours. So that was good, and I've recovered really. And I'm sitting here in Market Harborough by the town square in the sunshine. I have had a pint of Coke and a cheesy pizza, and whilst my legs feel a bit tired, hips really, so I'm going to wander up to the community hall where Mrs. Ejin has been doing some English country dancing.